Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. A couple big games came out today that we can enjoy this weekend. Both Returnal and new Pokemon Snap came out today. After waiting for 22 years, I'm absolutely pumped to play Pokemon Snap, and actually as soon as this video goes live, I'm going to be all over that game. Let me know if you're playing either one of these games this weekend. We do have a lot to go over today though, including some major news for Xbox. Now, we've been hearing for a little while now that they have some fascinating partners that they're working with to make some exclusive games. And well, a new report from multiple outlets let one of those projects leak. And yeah, it's as exciting as the rumors were hinting at, so we'll go over all that. Also, Sony dropped a PlayStation State of Play yesterday, and wow, if you want to talk about impressive, we need to talk about that showcase for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. With that said though, let's get right into the news, starting off with yet another delay. Yes, unfortunately, Fall Guys for Xbox and the Nintendo Switch is the next game to get a delay. This is a super popular game that released last year for the PS4 and PC. This game absolutely blew up online when it first released. It took the popular Battle Royale genre and almost injected some Mario Party-like minigames into the formula. It's a unique combination that it really worked out. It is a lot of fun, so I know a lot of people are really looking forward to playing this game on the Xbox and the Nintendo Switch. However, I always say this, but these delays are hardly surprising anymore. Most games will be delayed in some shape or form over the next couple years due to these new work conditions that developers have had to work around. And not just public delays either, but also internal delays that we just never hear about. I'm sure several games that are planned for a specific month in 2022 will be pushed back to a further date. This transition to working at home has just not been easy for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive that we will hear about a lot more delays as the year goes on. Sure, it's disappointing and everything, but in order for you to get the best possible game day one, this is absolutely needed. And here, Mediatonic wanted to release Fall Guys this summer, but in order to add things like crossplay, they had to make the tough decision to delay it. Personally, I say, take your time, take care of yourself, and make the best possible game that you can. Now, this next topic is going to be kind of frustrating to talk about, but we gotta go over this. The Activision studio, Toys for Bob, has been facing layoffs and have just announced that they are working on Call of Duty Warzone as a support team. This is such a shame for an incredibly talented studio. Now, if you don't know who Toys for Bob is, this is the studio behind Spyro Reignited and Crash Bandicoot 4. Yeah, this is a very talented team, and I do view Crash 4 as one of the better games to release in 2020. It absolutely is one of the best 3D platformers I've played in the modern era of games. I think it was exceptional and a perfect sequel to the original Crash trilogy. However, I don't know if Crash 4 met Activision's expectations. It certainly didn't sell as well as the Crash Insane trilogy, and that might have played a big part in their decision here. I mean, I don't know what Activision was expecting though. Their first mistake as a publisher was making it a full-priced $60 game at launch. Yes, Crash 4 was incredibly good, but the Insane trilogy was $40, while Crash 4 was $60. That was an odd decision by Activision, and I'm sure several people skipped out on a purchase for that exact reason. However, as we all know, Warzone has been a huge success for Activision, which is why they're now delegating Toys for Bob to work on Warzone. In fact, according to the Video Game Chronicles, virtually every Activision studio is working on Warzone. And this is something to keep in mind. We really don't know the full story here. Yes, Toys for Bob has confirmed that they're working on Warzone, but however, that doesn't necessarily mean the entire studio is. There is a possibility that only a portion is, while others are working on other projects. I know a lot of people were hoping for Spyro 4, which I personally would be thrilled about. They were also supposedly working on a new multiplayer game, and we'll see if that's still in development. An Activision spokesperson also came out to say that Toys for Bob is still the lead developer on Crash 4 despite working on Warzone. I don't really like the wording there because it specifically says Crash 4 and not the Crash franchise, but it does seem like there is a separate team there, and that's what I'm kinda hoping for right now. So I guess we'll see what all this means in the future. I am hoping for Spyro 4 personally, and please Activision, do not let Crash die once again. This is just Activision doing Activision things. I don't like it, but here we are. Moving on though, a new game leaked for the Nintendo Switch, and This is a good one. Ni no Kuni 2 got an ESRB rating, which means an announcement might be imminent. This is actually a really high-quality JRPG, and because the Studio Ghibli art style, it should look really good on the Switch, whether in portable or TV mode. Now, the first game is already available on the Switch, which is a magical JRPG. I actually own that game on the Switch, and it does look good. If you haven't played it already, I do recommend it. It is one of the better JRPGs available on the Switch. Now, I will say, I like the first game more than the sequel, but at the same time, Ni no Kuni 2 is a really good game that I think Nintendo fans will like. It is a standalone game, so you don't have to play the first game to enjoy the sequel. It's also important to note that if this does indeed come to the Switch, it will be the Prince Edition. That means you'd get some extra DLC content and the Season Pass, which includes extra story-related content. That's a nice bonus for having to wait a few years after its initial release on the PS4 and PC. Again though, these are good games, and if you're looking for a good JRPG, I would recommend both. Let's talk about Xbox though, because we have quite a bit to go over here, and we'll start off with Halo real quick, and then move on to that big partnership. So 343 have been posting monthly updates for Halo Infinite in the form of blog posts. This is a nice way to get more information on one of 2021's most exciting games, especially for Xbox. Their latest update though might be the most promising, because sometimes visuals explain so much more than what words can. And here we got an update on Halo Infinite's graphics, which was by far the most controversial thing about its original reveal. I still stand by what I said. I think the gameplay for Halo Infinite in that initial reveal does look good. The graphics, that's a little bit more debatable. We all remember Craig, of course, but now Craig has gotten quite the makeover. Check this picture out. Halo Infinite looks significantly better based off this picture. The textures and lighting have improved dramatically. This really is a night and day difference from what we saw last year. In fact, Custom Chief on Twitter posted this comparison, which is very telling on how much Halo Infinite has improved since we saw it last. Sure, the two pictures' lightings is very different here, so I will ignore comparing the lighting, but you can tell with the assault rifle and the brute that they have done a lot of work to make it look better. It now looks like the game that fans were probably hoping for in the first place. Yeah, I think this is a very promising update, and the good news is that we won't have to wait much longer to get video footage of this game. They are planning to drop gameplay footage this summer, so let's look forward to that. On to the big partnership though. A new report from both Windows Central and Eurogamer claims that IO Interactive is working with Xbox on a secret project. Now, IO Interactive is the studio behind the Hitman franchise. Hitman 3 just released a few months back, and it's debatably the best stealth espionage game ever made. It really is that good, and that's the thing. IO Interactive is a very talented studio with a good track record. They just make good, fun games, so this should be a big partnership for Xbox. To get that type of talent, and with the right budget, you could end up making something truly special. It gets even more intriguing though. We all know that IO Interactive is the Hitman studio, and they're also working on the James Bond IP. That makes sense considering both are secret agent games, but they are reportedly working on a third unannounced game, and that's the one for Xbox. This game is reportedly something a bit different than what you would expect from them. It's actually a fantasy game codenamed Project Dragon. Eurogamer described it as a AAA game set in a large medieval-esque world with winged beasts of a dragon variety. Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome on paper, though it is important to note this is very early in development. Do not expect this game to be officially announced anytime soon. It's still likely years away from releasing. We also don't technically have an official confirmation just yet, so anything could happen between now and its release. I, however, do in fact believe this game does exist, and I'll explain why. First off, both Eurogamer and Windows Central are well-respected outlets. They're not just gonna make something up like this. And the other reason, which is a big one, IO Interactive has openly talked about a third project. In fact, just earlier this month, this is what they had to say. Without going into too much detail, we have a third universe that we're working actively on, which is a bit different and absolutely a love child. It is something our core people, our veteran staff, have been dreaming about for some time. So there it is. This description fits the Project Dragon rumor perfectly. Just as IO Interactive said, it's a bit different as the rumor states, it being a fantasy game. So yeah, I think this is in development, and if Xbox really is working with them to make it happen, That is a big partnership. I know I'm personally excited to see what they can do in a fantasy world, and yeah, Xbox seems all in on this generation. They have their 23 studios working on countless games, but they're still reportedly partnering up with some major studios. I mean, just in the last couple weeks, we've heard about them working with Hideo Kojima and now IO Interactive. This is going to be a fun generation for all gamers, it seems. And speaking of that, the PlayStation 5 is looking pretty good right now as well. Returnal, of course, released just today. I talked a lot about Returnal in yesterday's episode, and it's looking and sounding absolutely fantastic. I'm definitely going to play that game when I get the chance. Sony, though, dropped a new PlayStation State of Play yesterday, where they dropped a lengthy gameplay trailer of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and then also talked about a few independent games. They showed some PS5 Subnautica Sub-Zero footage. It releases for the PS5 on May 14th, and if you own the first game on the PS4, you can upgrade for free on the PS5. That's pretty nice. And then also the massively popular Among Us is coming to the PS4 and PS5 later this year with a Ratchet & Clank costume as an extra little bonus. This is just another way to enjoy that game as you betray all your friends. The big reveal, though, was definitely Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and I cannot be any more impressed with this game. Insomniac did such a good job from top to bottom. It's easy to sit here and say the visuals look absolutely stunning because, well, it's obvious, they do. It looks like a Pixar movie. The animations are so buttery smooth, and the world is both atmospheric and beautiful to look at the same time. Even the eyeballs in this game have ray tracing, which just kind of shows the attention to detail. But then there's the gameplay, and wow. They showed two different sections here, one where you're playing as Ratchet in Nefarious City, where he's looking for his lost buddy, Clank. This seems to be a pretty expansive city to explore, and what I like personally is the added mobility. They did say that they're adding more mobility options, which should emphasize platforming just a bit more. Then they showed Rivet and Clank in more of a jungle-like section. Once again, it seems like a rather expansive place to explore, and you have these little bug-like creatures that you can ride around on to get to locations faster. Both places are vastly different, and both look like a lot of fun. I think what a lot of people are going to talk about, though, is the insane load times in this game. We've known for a while that this is the reason this game is a PS5 exclusive. You just can't do this type of stuff on the PlayStation 4, and they really are loading complete worlds almost instantaneously in Rift Apart. This is a creative way of using the solid-state drive as a gameplay feature. Really, the entire game centers around this one mechanic, and that is something else they highlight. Do expect them to use the DualSense controller in different creative ways. So again, everything about this game looks and sounds fantastic. This might be the first real next-generation showcase. This is going to be a lot of fun when it releases on June 11th. Let me know what you think about Rift Apart, though. Did you like what you saw, and are you excited to play it yourself? I know I certainly am. With that said, though, let's take a look at the poll of the day. We talked about this yesterday, and I want to know, with Returnal receiving a lot of praise from reviewers, are you more likely to pick up Returnal now if or when you get the PS5? And only 23% of you said yes. And that is something that I am genuinely curious about. I do want to see how well this game sells in the long run. As good as this game looks, which is very good, it comes off as a game that maybe not everybody would like. The roguelike genre can be a little bit more intimidating, and this is kind of a unique game. Many of you in the comments said that you like the way this game looks, but you're not quite sure about spending $70 on it. That seems to be a major part in your all's decision here. I do hope this game sells well, though, because I think Housemarque deserves the success. They have a good track record with their past games, and I was really happy to see them get the chance to make a big AAA game like this, and even better yet, to have it so well received. Now I'm just hoping to see it have some success as well. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.